Iron Lung, directed by Markiplier, which is interesting. I missed out on this movie initially, and it didn't come to digital until recently, in which you can rent it on YouTube if you're so inclined to. And I must say, this movie, a lot of my friends who saw it are big fans of Markiplier, and the reactions were generally, it's fine, or like, wow, we love that Markiplier did a directorial debut. I must say, a directorial debut, the like spectrum of quality that has is the same spectrum of quality that any movie has. Let's just say that Citizen Kane is a directorial debut, and that two of my favorite movies of this year are directorial debuts. So, with that being said, I don't really have any different expectations for directorial debuts, although it still is very impressive when they're done really well and they stand up to filmmakers that have been doing them for a while. With that said, Iron Lung wasn't very good. And I think Markiplier needs to hone his craft a little bit more for his next feature, because there's things here that are interesting, but I think as a whole, it just is really, really long and really, really tedious and really difficult to get through. It is a movie that, generally speaking, follows the same format and structure for most of its scenes and its camera angles for approximately an hour and a half of its 2 hour runtime. And eventually you just sort of check out. You sort of don't want to be watching it anymore. You want it to be over or to do something else. When it does something else, it gets interesting again. It gets a little fun again. But I don't think the horror elements work at all, because the whole thing just feels really tedious to watch. It didn't really excite me at any point. The sci-fi elements are okay. I think this world with the blood ocean and the dying stars is interesting. A little bit to say about how people are seen as expendable to others. I liked that element. I liked the sort of like exploration of the loneliness this sci-fi world has. I liked those elements, but those are like not really in the movie much, and they aren't the most interesting thing. The main issue is that I don't think Markiplier's acting carries this movie by itself. It's not bad. He's not a bad actor, but it's just, he's not doing enough to carry this movie. I get that it's a bottle movie. I have seen plenty of bottle movies, like last year's Blue Moon, which isn't a sci-fi horror movie at all, but last year's Blue Moon with Richard Linklater directing and Ethan Hawke in the lead role, that managed to capture me, even though it's a much less exciting topic, because they just know how to like film these scenes better. And also Ethan Hawke can carry a movie a lot better than Markiplier can. And so with that said, I think it's a good first attempt. It's a good scrappy effort. I've heard about all the effort Markiplier is putting in, and I'm glad that it paid off. I'm glad that this gets to exist and gets to top the box office. But compared to something like Backrooms or Obsession, it's rookie league. I think it's fair to say it's nice to see this do well. It's nice to see that a movie based on a very niche video game that I frankly never heard of did well. But at the same time, I could not get into it much at all. And there is stuff that's good about it, and there's stuff that intrigues me, but there is nothing that really excited me. And I was frankly really bored for the majority of the runtime, because everything just felt really repetitive. Anywho, going to the ratings board real quick, I'm going to give Iron Lung a rating of didn't care for it, because frankly, I can't be that bored by a movie and then pretend that I thought it was just all right. I think too much of the movie is way too meandering. I feel like this could have been an It's All Right had it been 90 minutes instead of 2 hours, but that 2 hour runtime just drags and drags and drags.